Much for joining us. It's a big week coming up for our one local author who has been working on a book for some time now. But we talk about making change in your life and how difficult that can be. Well, what about if you're running a business? It can obviously raise its own challenges, particularly in this day and age. Susan Odell has a new book out called Creating Change That Sticks, a New Blueprint for Leaders, and she joins me in studio this morning to talk about this and her book launch. Susan, thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, Andy. Thanks for inviting me. Great to be here.
Thanks so much for joining us. And the idea of kind of running a business at this time, I think it gives people, hives, right? Just the uncertainty that we've faced over the past 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you're digging into here is kind of, I guess, how to roll with the punches, really.
Yeah, so the book is called Successful Change, and it's really focused on helping companies grow. So, if you've started a business, that's great. You've had some success and you're getting to, whether it's the first plateau, second or third plateau of growth, your business has to adapt as you grow. And so the book is really focused on a 5-gate method to take you from ideation of how you think you can grow through the steps of setting goals, your strategy, your execution plan, and then how do you communicate and sustain your growth long term. So it's all about change. Change is the only thing that's guaranteed in life, whether it's business or personally. And so what I've done is taken my 27 years in tech and I've wrapped it around 7 actual real world case studies that I've lived or led as the anchor through the 5-gate method to really help as many people as I can succeed at change. And the framework's actually applicable to any situation in life. I've obviously, for monetizing it for my purposes in my business, focused it on tech and tech stories, but it's applicable universally regardless of industry or personal or professional.
And we've heard over the course of the past few years that word pivot, right?
Yeah.
And it seems a lot more simple when you just say that word, right?
Yeah.
But this is the idea of, things are going to continue to change. You have to be ready moving forward in this world of unknown.
That's right. And, AI, ChatGPT, or all these powerful tools which are absolutely required. It's required to adopt them. But that changes your business fundamentally. So how are you going to evolve your business, but not just your business, your people, to adopt these new technologies and make it a beneficial thing? So one of the important aspects of the book is it's not just about growing as a business, it's about growing your people. So I give equal weight to business change and people change, and you have to look at both, because if your people don't buy in to the change that you want to put on the business, they could completely kibosh your business. They could just revolt and even, the quiet quitting term.
Yeah.
They can quietly quit on the job and just say, I'm not having any of that. So the book puts a ton of weight on having that conversation and gaining buy-in from your people as you're on the road to change.
And you reference kind of tech specifically as well. And AI, it is kind of like the new world that we are kind of moving into. How difficult it is for businesses to kind of adapt to this new world so quickly when there is so little information. I guess that is kind of what you're explaining in your book, how to manage that. But I guess how difficult is it for businesses? It's
really difficult, especially if the businesses are not technology companies. So there's a thing called the data maturity model. And that means you have to start off with good quality data to begin with, even just to get to solid reporting. And then when you get through reporting, you can start to automate the reports, and the reports can give you some indications of how you might need to change. And as you advance, things become predictive. You can use data to predict what might happen, and you can use data to prescribe what should happen. But that's a data maturity model, and most companies are very immature, and so you cannot go directly to AI if your data sucks, right?
Right.
Like, you just can't. You can't. So the book is about that. It's about this is where it applies to everything. It says, okay, are you really in a situation where you're going to be successful? Maybe you need to fail fast and get your reporting in order before you jump on this AI bandwagon as if it's going to be some like nirvana thing. It's not. That's not how it works. So I'm very pragmatic. I've been successful in my career by just looking at things very honestly. And then you do the work. Like anybody who thinks change is like a magic bullet, they don't exist, right? You have to do the work. And so the book is all about doing the work.
Hey, man, particularly right now, I know being ready for change, I guess, is there something to be said about, staying nimble as a business as opposed to, I don't know, investing down one route right now because so much is happening. I guess he's just kind of keeping diversification alive, kind of the key right now.
Well, I think you said the key word is diversification. You can have a big investment strategy that might be 3 to 5 year plan, but be nimble at the same time. So again, the magical thinking of I'm going to invest big on this one thing and it's going to pay off. Well, there's a lot of risk in that. So you might want to just stratify what you're doing in your investment portfolio so that you can sustain the business and kind of mitigate the risk. But then invest in experiments, right?
Yeah.
Do little things, prove it, and then invest more in that thing that you've tested a bit.
So it is a matter of, I guess, taking a little bit of a taste of markets and kind of checking out, seeing how they are.
That's right. So yeah, I think it's slow down in order to hurry up.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
Absolutely.
And when we're talking about the book here, just I guess, do you notice mistakes that bigger companies make, or other tech companies or other companies make in trying to change? Is it, making change too fast, too quickly, not slow enough, not targeted? Is there kind of a big issue you find that companies do struggle with in the terms of change?
So statistically, 70% of change initiatives fail. There's a ton of academics. You can go to University of California, Berkeley. I actually refer to it on my website, 8020cs.com, as well as Gartners and industry analysts and big consulting firms. You could just Google it or ChatGPT it. You get a long list. But it is proven 70% fail, and the biggest contributor to failure is people. Because people, if they're making bad decisions about change at the leadership table, huge trickle-down effect and risk. If people that actually do the work that, that the change decision is put on them, if they don't buy into it, either the quality isn't going to be there, the efficiency and productivity isn't going to be there, or potentially they're just not going to do it. So that's why you have to give equal weight to the solution and the people. So, I said this last week, you could have the greatest human calculator who can do math and build algorithms and spreadsheets, and they can show you on paper. I actually have a case study in the book that was exactly this situation. We had a turnaround that needed to happen in 2 years, and I had a data scientist person whom I respect tremendously, and they brought to me data that said it was mathematically impossible for us to meet the 2-year targets. And so they just didn't buy into it. They ended up leaving the company. And we made our targets the next 2 years running because we looked at the data and we found systemic revenue leaks in the business that we were able to plug. So we didn't look at the data based on the historical. We looked at the data and said, well, what trends can we see in that? And then how can we change what has been historically the case? So people, right?
Yeah, of course. We often talk about they are the driver of the economy, right?
Correct.
In many ways. Yeah. You mentioned, 70% of change initiatives fail. That is what your book is writing about, right? Your guide into the 30% Success Club.
Correct.
It is making those changes kind of moving forward.
That's right.
And the book launch coming up on Wednesday, wanted to mention, where's this happening? Where can people find more information?
Right, so it's at Bayview Yard, so Invest Ottawa headquarters down on the Parkway. Wednesday morning, 8 o'clock, it'll be a breakfast launch. I have a music background as well, so we're incorporating some live music into the, and it's going to be a more informal, definitely a conversation. Andrew Waitman, CEO of Ascent, will be speaking. He's been a part of my career for a long time. Elamar, principal at Peter Peak. Susan Blaine will be talking about how if you're going to succeed as a leader in changing your organization for growth, your mental health needs to be in a really good place in order to deal with the chaos of change. So we've got food coming in from Haute Couture, some fancy Haute Couture oatmeal. So it's going to be just a great time of celebrating the book launch, but also just information, learning, and networking as well.
Change is the name of the game.
It is.
Yeah, well, we'll leave it there for now. But Susan Odo, your new book is called Successful Change. Where can people find it as well?
Amazon.ca, and you'll be able to find hardcover, paperback, Kindle, and Audible will be coming out in the next few weeks.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me. Great conversation. Thank you.
Thanks. It's your time. It's 580. You can also tweet us at CFO Ottawa.